It's a sunny February Sunday at the World Center of Racing. The air buzzes with excitement as another Daytona 500 is set to roar to life. Crew chiefs bark orders on pit road, last-minute tweaks are made, and drivers strap in for battle. Among them is Dale Earnhardt, the legendary seven-time champ looking to conquer the track that has tormented him his whole career. Over nearly 2 decades behind the wheel, Earnhardt earned a mythic reputation for aggressiveness and resilience. They called him the Intimidator, the man with more lives than a cat who always found a way to claw back. But sometimes even legends run out of miracles. Little do the thousands of cheering fans know they're about to witness the sport's darkest day. What happened in those horrifying final laps to claim the life of one of NASCAR's greatest champions? Keep watching to find out. It's February 18, 2001, at the Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida. Today is the date of the iconic Daytona 500 race, one of the most anticipated events in NASCAR. The stands are packed with thousands of eager fans, while millions more tune in on television to watch what will become one of the most tragic races in motorsports history. The green flag drops and the 43 cars of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series roar off the start line, led by pole sitter Bill Elliott. One of those cars is the iconic black number 3 Chevrolet Monte Carlo, driven by 7-time Winston Cup champion Dale Earnhardt Sr. At 49 years old, the legendary Earnhardt is a master of the high-banked superspeedway and remains one of the top competitors on track. As the race progresses, fierce battles emerge at the front of the pack. Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr., both members of Earnhardt Racing Team, dominate much of the 500-mile event. Meanwhile, Earnhardt Sr. stays near the front of the field, protecting his teammates from challengers trying to take away their lead. With less than 20 laps to go, Earnhardt Sr. heads down the back straightaway in 6th position, maintaining a close watch on the action unfolding in front of him. He had radioed to his crew chief earlier in the race that his car was feeling loose in the corners, but overall he seems comfortable behind the wheel. Trailing closely behind Earnhardt is Sterling Marlin in 7th place. As the two drivers reach turn 3, Marlin tries to pass Earnhardt on the inside. But Earnhardt aggressively blocks his challenger, forcing Marlin to abruptly lift off the throttle. Hold her down there, Earnhardt barks at Marlin over his team radio. Protecting 3rd place is crucial if he wants to ensure one of his cars makes it to victory lane. The cars exit turn 4 to come across the finish line, beginning the final lap. Up ahead, Waltrip and Earnhardt Jr. run nearly side by side, battling for the lead. Further back, Earnhardt Sr. has powered ahead of Marlin down the front straightaway and into turn 1, but Marlin fights back, pulling alongside Earnhardt's left door entering turn 2. Once again, Earnhardt throws his car down toward the yellow line at the bottom of the track, squeezing Marlin's faster, moving Monte Carlo toward the high line. But this time, contact is made. The left front of Marlin's car barely brushes against the right corner panel of Earnhardt's Chevy. At 180 miles per hour, even the slightest contact can be disastrous. The nudge from Marlin causes Earnhardt's car to abruptly snap loose off turn 2. Earnhardt fights the wheel, trying to regain control. In a split second, the unthinkable occurs. The legendary Intimidator loses control and violently collides with the concrete wall. Would this be the crash that finally stops the seemingly invincible Earnhardt? Traveling at nearly 160 miles per hour, the number 3 machine slams into the concrete barrier nearly head-on. The deafening sound of grinding metal and shattering glass echoes through the speedway as Earnhardt's car rebounds back into traffic. In the blink of an eye, Ken Schrader has no time to react as he T-bones Earnhardt's careening Monte Carlo. The catastrophic collision sends both cars sliding and tumbling through the infield grass, kicking up dirt and debris along the way. After nearly flipping upside down, Earnhardt's mangled Chevy comes to rest on its roof, finally halted on the infield grass just past turn 4. Schrader's battered Ford sits nearby, its front end crushed from the devastating impact. In the immediate aftermath, concern spread through the crowd and the television broadcast booth. It seems unlikely that any driver could walk away from such a violent collision on the final lap. Safety crews sprint toward the accident scene as race officials frantically wave for paramedics. Back on track, Michael Waltrip crosses the finish line to capture his first career Daytona 500 victory. Dale Earnhardt Jr. follows closely behind in 2nd place, giving car owner Dale Earnhardt Sr. an elusive 1-2 finish at the sport's most prestigious race. But Earnhardt Sr. is nowhere to be seen. He remains trapped inside his overturned and shattered race car just a few hundred feet from the finish line. With only a thin interior roll cage for survival, all that can be seen of NASCAR's top icon is his left arm dangling limply from his Chevrolet's shattered window. Inside the battered Monte Carlo, the situation is dire. When Earnhardt made head-on contact with the Turn 4 wall, he experienced an estimated 40G to 45G crash impact. To put that into perspective, that's similar to suddenly decelerating from 70 miles per hour to 0 in just 1/8 of a second. The violent collision instantly renders Earnhardt unconscious as his unrestrained body whips forward inside the cockpit. His head violently strikes the steering wheel, causing a fatal skull fracture and severe neck trauma. Dangling from his safety belts, Earnhardt's limp body absorbs blow after blow while being repeatedly thrown around the inside of his car. His car's right side window is ripped away and the rear wheel assembly tears off, spewing debris across the track. Miraculously, through all of this, the red number 3 stays affixed above his driver's side window. While Earnhardt remains motionless in his battered race car just past the finish line, newly crowned Daytona 500 champion Michael Waltrip celebrates fervently in Gatorade Victory Lane. Still oblivious to the tragedy slowly unfolding behind him, Waltrip smiles brightly, holding his winner's trophy, calling it unbelievable to win at Daytona, and speculating on what it will be like celebrating with car owner Dale Earnhardt. "I know Dale's going to be excited," Waltrip says during a live ESPN interview. "I can't wait to see him. I can't wait to hug his neck." Back in the damaged number 3 Chevrolet, Dale Earnhardt remains completely unresponsive as safety crews arrive on scene. The first emergency technician attempts to provide medical assistance by squeezing through Earnhardt's car window and checking for vital signs. But it only takes moments inside the battered cockpit to realize that Dale Earnhardt, the seemingly invincible Ironhead, has died instantly from his catastrophic injuries. At this point, nearly 4 minutes have passed since Earnhardt's deadly impact with the Turn 4 wall. As emergency crews attempt to determine their next steps, television cameras continue broadcasting the chaotic scene live to a captive nationwide audience. Millions of race fans look on, clinging to every last glimmer of hope as commentators speculate about Earnhardt's condition. Back in Gatorade Victory Lane, Michael Waltrip still celebrates, smiling gleefully, tragically unaware that his car owner and mentor's life has just flashed before our eyes in the blink of a second. Finally, after 10 agonizing minutes, the relatively intact body of Dale Earnhardt is carefully removed from his race car through the twisted frame where the roof once was. Laid on the ground near his ravaged Chevy, frantic EMTs immediately start performing CPR on Earnhardt's lifeless body. But despite nearly 15 minutes of intense effort by medical crews, there is no saving Earnhardt. Amongst the carnage and crumpled sheet metal, one of NASCAR's greatest heroes takes his final breath, dying instantly just minutes earlier from his horrific head-on impact with the concrete wall. At 5:16 p.m., Dale Earnhardt Sr. is pronounced dead due to head trauma at the age of 49, finally concluding motorsport's blackest day. In the span of a few horrifying seconds, the self-proclaimed Intimidator's fearless aggression behind the wheel catches up with him. After cheating death for decades, Earnhardt used up his last lifeline competing in the race he wanted to win more desperately than any other. In the aftermath, a capacity crowd exits the speedway in a state of shock, having just witnessed the death of a racing immortal right before their eyes. While carrying on through tears mustered a courageous second-place finish, the king's sudden death leaves the prince to rule over a shaken kingdom. Dale Earnhardt's sudden death on the final lap stands as one of racing's darkest moments, showcasing the immense risks these drivers take battling for glory at 200 miles per hour. In the blink of an eye, NASCAR lost its toughest competitor and most iconic hero. The Earnhardt family would never fully recover from that heart-wrenching Sunday afternoon in 2001, watching their beloved father and husband die instantly right before their eyes. And for all of us who witnessed this tragedy unfold live on television, those terrifying images of Dale's lifeless body being pulled from the ruins of his battered race car remain seared into our collective consciousness forever.